Welcome to Glitch Please, the show where we talk about video games every week. I'm Ashley.
I'm Chad.
And I'm Adam.
It sounded like you said I'm Jen.
I'm Jen.
We're gonna have a whole,
sure.
we're gonna have a whole new
Chad. There you go.
Thing on our
I'm
hands.
Madam.
Hello, madam.
Hello, madam. And big thanks to MeUndies and Discord for sponsoring this episode of Glitch Please. We have so much stuff to cover for this episode. We got a couple new Pokemon games announced. Fallout 76 was announced.
The 76 Fallout game.
Yeah,
Yes.
PUBG is finally actually suing Fortnite. And
Holy shit, I didn't hear about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to hear about it, dude.
we're gonna get into this.
Cool.
And also, E3 is coming up.
What is that?
And
E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo in LA. We're gonna be at it. I've been burning the midnight oil planning for it. We are gonna have so many games on our live stream. I don't know which ones I can say yet, so I won't. But there's a lot of really big titles I'm really excited for.
Can we expect Scalebound to make a premiere? Yes. I'm never gonna shut up about that game.
No, you never.
I love dragons. They're cool, man.
Yeah, but
Listen.
if that game was actually shaped
I
up to be
know.
a good game, it
I know
wouldn't
what
have
you're
got canceled.
saying, but man.
Just mod Skyrim.
dragons.
Just put like headphones on your character and then just go fight the dragon in Skyrim.
Sorry.
Also, you forgot to mention that this week The Hungering Deep came out for Sea of Thieves.
Oh, right, and the Hungry
yeah,
Deep
the big-
received
big news of the
these.
week.
I'm sure we'll hear all about that in a
will.
couple seconds.
That's
Because before we get into all the news, all the E3 predictions, we've been playing video games.
Occasionally, yeah.
I'm assuming yours is Hungry
You know what
Deep.
it is. Yes. So The Hungering Deep came out this week for Sea of Thieves. I like really had my expectations tempered, you know, like because they even ahead of time they did the PR speak of like it's gonna be about a mid-sized patch, which means it's like
mid-sized patch.
lower your
What does that
fucking
mean?
expectations, you know, because I don't want to disappoint you. So yeah, like I'll go into like not super spoilers. By now you should know that the terror is like a giant
Are there spoilers?
shark. Oh, this is also like people wanted to see a clip from me. This isn't actually anything related to The Hungry Deep. This is just last night. Me one beforeing a galleon. But anyway, so Hungering Deep came out.
Wow, that was a little humble brag. What's up?
Yeah, you know.
Well, I was
No,
gonna go
people
about that.
before
being
the
like
galley,
better than
no
four
big.
people at
I
once.
was gonna set this
So
clip
good.
up in a different way, but now it's just happening. Anyway, look. So about Hungering Deep. So like the big terror is they added this giant megalodon, right? That exists in the game now. Which if
Do you think this was a product placement tie-in with the Meg?
Actually, no. But I mean, it could have been. They could have seized that opportunity really easily. If you know, as then we could be Jason Statham. Like you get like a skin for your pirate. That
He'd
would've been
make a
awesome.
great pirate.
Yeah. Maybe that dude who gives you the quest. Maybe that's really Jason Statham. We'll see. No, so the whole thing was like they added this new threat and they did some things that they needed to do. Like they added some more cosmetics, right, which is great.
Yay.
Yeah, man. Fuck yeah.
The only thing is like it's like you can complete everything the Hungering Deep has to offer in like a couple hours.
Ooh, really?
That sounds.
What,
I mean,
tell me-
that sounds par for the course for Sea of Thieves.
Tell me something. What is there to complete aside from the shark?
So it's just a couple of fetch quests that lead you to the shark.
Wow.
So you talk to the dude, he sends you off on like a quest, you go find a couple pages of his journal, and it's all in like a riddle. So that was cool. Like I made sure I didn't read anything on the internet because I knew that this content was gonna be really, really limited. And so you know, one of my other friends was like, well, you just look it up. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, we finally got something new. Like, don't ruin it for yourself. Let's take as much time as we need to figure out these riddles. So we did, and we went around and we found out like, you know, where to go talk to these people. Once you talk to enough people, you come back to the dude and he gives you like, you get a drum, right? And this whole thing's been about this
Yeah,
song.
new instruments.
Yeah, that's true.
You can,
Wow,
you can
yeah.
have a whole.
And you have a
band
speaking
now.
trumpet now, so you can like yell like really far away, or like you can flash your red and blue lanterns together and then yell at people like to pull over and chase them like the cops.
That's nice.
You have your own fun in Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
okay?
man.
So anyway, once you like complete these quests, then the guy tells you about like this song, but like 5 people have to be playing it, but you only have a max crew of 4. So you're forced, if you want to fight the shark, you're forced to team up with another galleon or another sloop or something, and you have to then. This is the part that sucks. You have to start playing his song, right? Because, like, you know when everybody syncs up when somebody's playing a song in Sea of Thieves and somebody else comes up, they immediately, right? So the only way you can start playing this new shanty is right next to him, and he's in the bottom left corner of the map, and where you fight the shark is in the bottom right corner of the map. So you have to literally carry
Long
a tune.
little trip.
Yeah, you have to carry a tune across the sea.
How do you do that if you're driving a ship?
Well, one person has to at least be playing it, and then the other people can go and
sync
sync
to
up
him.
with it.
Got it.
Yeah, exactly. When we did it, we ended up, it was really interesting. So first, like, you know, it's the pirate mentality, and like, we knew that we were gonna have to team up with somebody, so we're like, hey, let's all team up, and they start firing cannons, and then, you know, we sync them and teach them a lesson, until finally, we had organized enough friendly people, like, and the thing that sucked is we did this like the first night, so like nobody had done the quest yet, so we ended up just like taking a bunch of people around to do the quests, so then we could go. So yeah, we ended up.
Your 2 hours was actually like extended by having to do extra shit.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So it might not even take 2 hours if.
Oh no, I mean like we played for about like 4 hours.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So like we got them all taken around, and then we went off and we fought the Megalodon, right? So we summoned this giant shark. It came up out of the water, and you can actually see it. You can jump in the water. That was a big feedback.
Wait, you mean it's got a body?
It has a body.
It's
so,
not just a bunch of arms?
No,
so the Kraken.
Right, the water doesn't turn dark. You can jump in there, and it's real scary. I can tell you that. Like, I wanted to just see, so I jumped in with a sword, and it's like huge, right? So that was fun. But
Can you like jump on its back?
I mean, you can jump onto it, but like you'll fall off right away.
Okay.
And so like there's some fun glitches you can look up too. Like the thing is like gone across the top of a ship. Other times it's like flipped upside down. For the most part though, it's been pretty bug free. Like it's a pretty intense battle. It was fun to do. Like it takes a lot of hits.
And I bet you get like some really cool rewards from doing it, right? Like probably like maybe the coolest shit in the game you get for killing this big shark, right?
What do you get for killing the big shark, Chad?
You get a little mast thing or a little prow. What's it called? Figurehead. You get a little figurehead.
Like a bobblehead.
And I think you get a title. I haven't confirmed that. I haven't gone to check and see if I can add one. And then there's no other incentive for ever doing it again. And now the place where you get the quest is probably just going to turn into an island for griefers because, like, let me put it this way, like, why would I ever do the Megalodon again? I have no incentive.
But you need other people to do it.
But other people
Oh man.
are gonna want to do it, and like I know there's gonna be tons of people who are just gonna set up and camp on this island, and so when they go and try and like get the quest, they're just gonna kill them.
How soon do you think we're gonna get an update saying we've reduced the number of players required for the Megalodon quest to 4?
We'll see. It's supposedly I can't remember. One of them something's supposed to be temporary. I don't know if it's actually fighting the Megalodon.
That would be
might
dumb,
be the
'cause
reward.
That's update.
Yeah, I don't know. Like honestly, I had fun. I'm glad there was new stuff.
I'm glad you had fun.
But like the reason I played Sea of Thieves, like it didn't like change the world for me, and like it gave me one night of something new to do, and now it's just like and back to business as usual.
And it hasn't like added stuff throughout the game. It's just the shark, right? Yeah. All right.
And there's more sharks in the water now. I can tell you that.
More sharks? I don't
Oh
like
my
sharks
god!
that are already there.
No, it was crazy. So to lead up to this, they were dropping like little hints. So like they would do updates and like things were in taverns that you didn't see before, like harpoons, and people were like trying to figure out like this was coming. Well, one of the things they did was they upped the shark spawn. Like no joke, it was crazy. Like you get a few people in the water, and like there's a couple of screenshots of like 8 to 10 sharks. Like oh, it's crazy. But because of that, we found out that if you actually hold your cutlass to parry, and you're like even with a shark, you can parry its bite.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
I remember during the beta when you were seeing clearly they're moving sliders all over the place and changing things up. There was a point where it went from tons of sharks to not a whole bunch of sharks, and that was about the time they introduced snakes on the islands.
God, I hate snakes.
Well, the learning thing with snakes was always fun because everyone who caught a snake would inevitably put it in a crate next to chickens or whatever.
Yeah, they're ruthless
and then go,
bastards.
I don't understand why the chickens all died. And there's this learning process of, I think the snake killed the chickens.
Oh yeah.
And it's not something that's ever explained. It's just something that everyone sort of figures out the hard way or the internet way.
Oh yeah.
But that was fun. Never did like the sharks though.
Oh yeah, no, they're a big pain in the ass. But some people are saying they hope it sticks around because it creates like a lot more intensity when you're in like the water, like and keeps like when you're having a ship battle and people are in the water. Now there's like this really big thing like you better get back on a boat. But
would the Megalodon just show up randomly, or you have
to summon it
So
with at least 5 people
it'd be
playing
cool if it was just like, hey, it's gonna fucking there's a giant shark now.
That would be pretty
Like
awesome.
randomly.
Yeah, and like, dude, it's pretty
you're
terrifying.
Swimming around and then
Yeah.
suddenly Megalodon.
Yeah, man.
When it's coming after like a boat, because it swims around and you see it and you're like, you see its fin or whatever, and then it turns and it does the like the shark lunge, you know, and then it just comes up out of the water and chomps onto a boat. Like the whole boat shakes. If you're on the top, it'll knock you off. Like so, like it's cool and it's pretty intense. But yeah, once
So, I'm trying to get a picture for scale. Is it like his mouth is as big as can bite into a boat?
yes,
That's how big it is. Okay.
yes. So like
2 or 3 sizes of the ship.
of a sloop, it's about the size. It's like a little bit bigger than a sloop.
Then a sloop. It's
Yeah.
not bigger than a galleon.
Not bigger than a galleon. No.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like I said,
It's a shark, Adam. Don't be silly.
It's a mega shark
it's a huge shark, and it has 4 eyes.
and
4 eyes.
Many
Look,
rows
yeah, it's
of
got
teeth.
two eyes on each side.
It's like the real megalodon.
Yeah, like the real megalodon.
Right, the one from the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Real.
No, they're fairly real, but
The big shark.
How about you, Adam? You were out last week. You were at MegaCon.
It was.
How was that?
Speaking of snakes, I held a 10-foot olive python. It was so cute. I love snakes. I love animals.
They got cute little faces.
They do. They're really fun to pet. They feel weird. But MegaCon was cool. They don't have games at MegaCon. It's just like a entertainment convention. Or it's like a dealer's. You go buy artwork. You go buy toys and things like that. But I got home and the Dark Souls Remaster released. Also, it released 2 days early. It was supposed to release on the 25th, released on the 23rd on PC for whatever reason, which I found super strange. Like, that never happens, right? But anyways, came home, started playing that. There's a lot of people are mad about the remaster. I don't know if you know this.
why?
Yes, I've heard that it's not as polished or as free of bugs and glitches as people have hoped.
So I think there's a number of reasons. One of the reasons is that when the original Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition port was released on the PC, it was pretty bad. It didn't run at 60 frames a second. It had bugs and it didn't look great, and there was texture problems, and basically someone came along, made it in a mod called DS Fix, which allowed you to run it at 60 frames a second, fix some of the graphical issues, made it like a playable game.
You gotta love when somebody has to mod it.
A mod did, yeah. And it was basically you could play it without the mod, but if you were playing it, you were playing it with the mod in general. And it wasn't perfect. When you upped the frame rate to 60 frames a second, it would mess with the game engine a little bit, and you would sometimes fall through the ground or whatever. So it was a huge problem. People still liked the game, but it never got fixed. From Software put it out, and they never put the effort to fix it, which is it's a problem.
Some people were hoping that when this one came out, they would have finally addressed it.
Well,
Right, they would have learned from the past problems.
In a sense that they did. It's beautiful. Runs 60 frames a second. Looks fantastic. They fixed some of the lighting issues. They changed some weird stuff, they changed the way the souls look on the ground. It used to be just a white light source, and now it's a white light source that looks a little sharper with some blue around it. Anyways,
You're really gonna nitpick that?
well, no, I don't mind. It's just when you play 1,000 hours of Dark Souls and you come back and you're like, that's not all white. Why is that not all white? I've touched that thing 1,000 times. But the problem that a lot of people are having is that this is 5 or 6 years later, and they're not just giving this out for free. This is a $40 game. And it's $20 if you own the Prepare to Die edition, which I do. And but people just feel hey, the modder already put this out for free and you're charging for it. And of course, they've done some other fixes that are also a big part of it. In the original game, multiplayer matching was a pain in the ass. In order to match with someone, you would basically drop your sign on the ground. And to do that, you basically hit a button when you have an item, and a sign will appear in the world for other players. However, you could never. Players are on different shards of servers. So if I drop my sign, it's going to go to one specific shard or one specific server.
Phase or yeah, you got it.
And my friend isn't necessarily on that
there,
server.
yeah.
So we would spend every time we wanted to play together 10 minutes or whatever. We had to jump through a lot of hoops. We eventually figured out the nuances to it, but it was a real pain in the ass to play with your friends.
Yeah.
In later games, they added password matching, where you would literally type in a password, and your friend would type in the same password, and you would match together instantly. And I'm really happy to say we co-opted last night, and it was the first time I got the sign, he picked me up, and that felt great. They've made other minor changes to the gameplay, your summons in the first game. When you would summon someone into your game, you would have to heal them by drinking your own Estus. Now they can heal themselves by drinking their Estus.
Yeah, you want to drink your own Estus,
Yeah,
Chad?
I heard that you can do that in moments of desperation, but
Gross. So they've made those changes. I totally understand where people are coming from. I think that packaging all of this and selling it to people that maybe got burned on the first game is pretty rough. That said, I still bought it and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And the biggest thing for me is not just the frame rate fixes, but there are so many other people playing it. I think it was reported that it already has more peak players than Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition ever had.
Oh, cool.
So that's a huge plus. I don't think you match with people from the Prepare to Die Edition. I can't be sure of that though. But it's great. Being able to play that game again, not only at a solid frame rate, you could do that before, but just like in a world full of people, it's like, if you were interested in Dark Souls, you should play it because it's having the experience of you see bloodstains everywhere, you see messages left from people, you see like summon signs, it really makes a difference. And it was one of the things that made Dark Souls so special the first time around was if you went human, which basically meant when you're not human, you can't co-op with people, you can't get invaded by other players. If you go human, you can summon in other friends, but you're also like at risk of people invading your game and like attacking you. And when you played later in the lifespan of Dark Souls, you never got invaded, even if you were human. And you also never got to co-op. But now it's like, there's so many people, it's super fun. I still have some gripes with it. There's like a weird bug where every 10 minutes or so, I'll have like a frame rate drop for 1 or 2 seconds. And like, that shouldn't happen. This is a remaster. I bought it for this reason, for it not to happen. So that's a pain in the butt. But otherwise, I'm having a ton of fun.
Do you think it's checking in with something?
I don't know.
I mean, if it's that regular, it seems like there's something going on behind the scenes that is
I read
taking up all the resources.
I don't know if it's happening to everyone, but I read a thread that was like, hey, this is happening, and someone was like, just turn off VSync or turn to borderless windowed, and I've tried both those things, and they did not fix my problem. So I don't really know. My friend's having the same problem, but it's a blast, dude. I love that game, and playing it with a community full of people again is exactly what I want.
Maybe I'll get on that. I really like hard games. Like I love like those like old school like hard platformers, and so like that's what a lot of people equate Dark Souls to. You know,
yeah.
It's like the new generation of that. Like
Dark Souls is a hard game.
So like yeah, I know. I really want to.
It's one of those games that rewards you for like learning and being patient and understanding attack patterns and not getting greedy and stuff like that. So
yeah, I don't think I'm really the demographic for Dark Souls. The marketing of something like this game's gonna make you its bitch. That doesn't really work for me so much.
God, sorry.
I like that it exists. It's great that there's that atoms of the world that like the intentionally really difficult games. I'm generally in it for experiences, and that is usually not a great one.
Yeah, no, Dark Souls, like if you're in it for a story, it doesn't have a story per se. It has lore built into the game, but there is like no surfaced story. It's all item text. And,
you discover it all really via things in the world. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. You discover it through context of where things are, and also like literally the item descriptions of things.
Just overcoming challenges. The game, like,
it's fun. Yeah, I love it.
I've been playing a couple things. I finished Detroit Become Human.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
I love that you tweeted at me that you're like, never mind.
Yeah, so when we had talked about it last week, I think I was earlier on in the game than I realized. I basically went home and I marathoned through, and between Thursday and Friday, I finished it and then started going back in because you can go back to the scenes that you've completed, and you can see the branching paths that you could have taken. It doesn't tell you what's on the other paths, just that you missed something, or clearly there was a choice here, you made one choice and you went down this path. And you can see there is another path. So you can kind of go back in and you can start either from the beginning of a scene or segment, or there's sometimes a checkpoint a little bit further in. So you can say, I just want to see what would have happened later. And so I started going back in trying to figure out, maybe if I do this, I want to know what happens. And it took me a couple hours just to 100% the first scene. Because and that first scene is the one from the demo as well. There's like 5 different endings for that. And there's all these little other factors in between. So went back and was doing that. there's a lot of replayability there because there's a lot of things that I'm like, oh God, I wish it had gone this way, or like I didn't save this person because I didn't do a thing. I didn't realize I was panicking, and I missed out. So I can go back and go, haha, I've saved them, and then see how the game plays out, because it'll save your progress, and then you can load a later scene, and the variables have changed.
Okay.
So that's all pretty cool. But it is absolutely, it's child endangerment, the video game.
Yeah.
There's lots of kids in jeopardy in it.
Do you, as someone who would probably just play through one playthrough and not go back and visit alternate timelines just because of, I don't know, I just know myself, I probably wouldn't do that.
Yep.
How long is the base game, and would you say it's worth the full price?
I'd say it's 10-ish hours.
Okay.
And whether it's worth the price is very dependent on you as a gamer. Is 10 hours worth it? It's a narrative experience. It's not, you're not going to be running around shooting stuff. It's an interactive story that you are participating in.
That's like the length of 5 movies.
Yeah.
You'd pay a lot more to see 5 movies.
Well, you pay the same, roughly. I think, man, I'm really interested in it, but I'm worried that like I'll play it for like 8 to 10 hours and be done with it. And I think I would be. So I think that maybe I'll wait for a sale. But I'm interested.
Yeah, I enjoy it, but you have to like that type of game. If you're hoping for the freedom to do whatever and make whatever choice, you're not going to get it.
Yeah, I was really when Heavy Rain came out, I was like, man, this looks so cool. But I never got that either. I actually did get that, and I only played a little bit. I got past the Jason part, and that was the beginning. So
there was one.
Is there an equivalent in Detroit? They say the same name over and over?
I don't think there's anything that's quite that meme-worthy.
Okay.
But there's one character in it that kept sticking in my mind, and I was like, I know this person. And it turns out one of the female androids in the game was in that Charlie's Angels TV reboot.
They never watched that.
There was
a Charlie's Angels TV reboot a couple years ago. It did not last long. Hey Ben, you want to look up how long that Charlie's Angels TV show?
He's already going. You can see.
Yeah, I think she was the main character in it. I watched the first episode, and I think after that I was like, eh. And then I was out because I was like, it's interesting, but this is very clearly like, going to be one of the like formula shows. And if I'm going to watch a formula show, well, actually, I'm pretty susceptible to formula shows, but they got to have like my shtick.
Well, hey, maybe that's the next game that they're working on.
It lasted from September 22nd to November 10th.
Yeah, so it didn't go long.
That's rough.
But she was in it, and I liked her, and then so I saw this character in the game, and was like, I recognize this lady, and that was a weird moment for me. That she was close enough, like she looked realistic enough that I was like, I know exactly who that is.
Did you feel any emotional connection to the stories? Did you tear up at any point? Did you get happy? Did you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good. Look, I don't want to brag or anything, but I'm pretty good at suspension of disbelief. I like suspending disbelief. I'm all about it. I like getting into the stories and just being along for the ride, and then coming out of it later and going, that was a fun ride.
Yeah.
And so it can take a lot, or sometimes just a couple of really weird things that I guess are my hang-ups to throw me out of something completely. So I was in it, and it did a good job of pulling me through the narrative. There we go. They're not saints. They're Charlie's Angels.
Christ.
Yes.
Nice.
With that tagline, how could they fail?
Babe in the middle there. That's one of the androids.
Okay.
And I like the mini stories they tell via the different characters. So one of the main characters, he gets accused of a crime and gets thrown away, and he has to like put himself back together and then find the resistance, or basically like the abandoned runaway androids, and
so spend a lot of time on Chewbacca's back and all that.
Yeah, lots of time on Chewbacca's back. And so then there's obviously different characters with their the angel on his shoulder, the devil on his shoulder, and trying to be like, we should go violent, we should go peaceful. And so you're sort of navigating your way through all that. And then based on what you choose, different paths will open up. Different characters you can unlock certain like extra bits with characters that you have become particularly close to. So that's cool. For example, Soda was a lover with that lady, because it's
Nice.
Yeah.
Is there any? How many like scenarios would you say there? Would you say there were scenarios? Or?
Yeah. So they kind of play out in scenes. There's I don't know exactly how many, couple dozen.
Okay.
And they're split across 3 main characters.
Okay.
So there's Marcus, who is the dude who goes and finds resistance. There is girl Kara, or Kara, depending on which character is saying her name, because I guess the audio director didn't really make a decision. So.
Or maybe that's just extra immersion and realism, because some people would say Kara and some would say Kara.
No, I just feel like there wasn't a whole lot of direction there. So depending on like the voice actor would get in the booth and just be like, oh, yes, Kara. And never got corrected.
That really fucking bothers me.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Every time I'd be like,
In the Witcher books, the audiobooks, the first book he pronounces the character's name Dandelion. And the second book he pronounces it Dandelion, because it's actually Dandelion.
Okay.
But the whole first book, I was like, Dandelion? Are you fucking serious?
I can hear
No
you
one
on the
thought this was an
audiobook
issue.
thing. I got you. Like, I don't like it when one of the biggest pet peeves for me is if like it's like I'm blown away by a lot of like the audiobook narrators who can like do like an incredible range of voices consistently. But nothing bothers me more than like if you're like in a later book and a character comes back and he uses a different voice.
Oh yeah.
Like that just drives me nuts.
that's not what you sound like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to like discredit that. The voice actor / presenter for the Witcher books is like amazing. Best I've heard.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Just blame the director.
Yeah.
Then there's Kara, and she's sort of a mother figure to a real girl, and they're running away together. And then the third one is basically an android cop detective who's tasked with hunting down runaway. Yeah, he's
Gotcha.
RoboCop, with hunting down runaway androids. And so you're sort of going through all 3 of their stories and navigating that. I like it.
Was there any one that you felt was like you got back to and you're like, not this story again?
No, not
You liked them
really.
all?
Yeah, I thought they were all well done. They were all fun. I particularly liked Kara's. I thought she was a great character, navigating the idea of motherhood to a real girl, and like sort of what that means as an android, and also just that's the child endangerment.
Yeah,
They were facing a lot of peril trying to get away, but they were, they loved each other and were trying to make it. So I liked that one in particular. Also, I really liked RoboCop.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought that was one of the more subtle storylines, I thought, but it was a lot of fun.
But the world intrigues me. Is the world pretty cool? Like it's like a cyberpunk kind of, not cyberpunk.
Is it like
maybe
Blade
maybe just
Runner?
sci-fi.
It starts out pretty grounded, like you draw out the AI and technology a little bit, and you're like, I can see how we get there. And then it starts to, it's become like more and more fantastic, like more leaps of logic are taken as it progresses. But it's cool in that it asks questions about, in a world where, androids can do most jobs, what do humans do? And it also draws more, it draws out the sort of increasing rift between the upper class, who has 1% of the people have 95% of the wealth,
right,
kind of thing, and everyone else is really suffering. They can't get jobs, they can't make money because the androids are doing all the jobs, and sort of how that influences society. So you get this really cool futuristic tech, and also a lot of people who are not doing great.
Okay.
So it's fun. I like it.
Seems like there's a lot of analogs to draw to current society.
Yes.
Yeah.
They sort of like draw it out the future and exaggerate it, but they definitely have things to say.
Yeah, totally.
About all that. So really enjoyed it. Also started playing the new Pokemon game that came out just
randomly.
Pokemon.
Was that yesterday, right?
Pokemon Quest.
Day before yesterday.
Day before yesterday.
Oh, that's right, Tuesday. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because yesterday
Memorial
was
Day threw us all off.
Did you start playing it, or did it start playing itself?
It started playing
I saw you tweet
itself.
about that.
I'm along for the ride.
Yeah.
But so have you been playing much of it?
No, I looked at it and I was like, no, I'm good.
Right. So this is Pokemon Quest, and we'll get more into the other Pokemon game in a little bit. But Pokemon Quest was part of the new announcement that Nintendo just made for their new titles, and this was one of their mic drops, like, it's available now.
Right.
And it's available on Switch. It's free to start, and then there's going to be a mobile version as well that comes out late June.
So tell me about this, because I watched the other Pokemon trailer, but I haven't seen much about this. I just heard that they dropped a game, and I haven't looked into it yet. So
okay,
tell me about it.
Free download on the eShop at the moment. It's a very different look than other Pokemon games. It's kind of voxely, blocky.
Oh.
Actually, I
Okay.
really like the
Looks
art
like
style.
a-
It's pretty cute.
looks
You
like
can
a-
also see the mobile
What the
influences
hell?
immediately. You put together a little team.
Okay.
You make some Pokemon friends.
It's like a little
and then
Pokemon
you
gang,
go-
and you go beat the hell out of other Pokemon?
That's right.
Oh, you came to the wrong
but-
part of town,
but
Pokemon. Look at
it's,
this.
So you go on these expeditions. You're at this island, Tumble something island. I don't really. You're on an island. Tumble what?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to shut up.
Tumble thing island, and
Okay.
then you go on these expeditions, and they'll be like, here's a certain power level. This is about the power level you can expect to find wild Pokemon in this expedition, and so you want your power level to be, about that, or maybe higher if you want to womp on stuff.
Okay.
And so you're trying to level your Pokemon up and get things that you slot into their box as they progress.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Yeah, you slot stuff in their box.
Okay, great.
Nice.
The Pokemon are into it.
Okay,
They level up and they get more slots.
perfect.
And so you can get like might slots or heart slots that will increase their health or their strength and so on.
But
And
then the whole purpose is you just go around beating the hell out of other Pokemon and leveling up?
yep.
Is there like,
You can also, in your base camp, you can cook stuff to attract other Pokemon who will be like,
so
"That
we
looks
lure them in
delicious."
and then beat the hell out of them?
You lure them in and then hopefully they beat the shit out of other Pokemon for you.
Oh, okay.
The price of loyalty is high.
Interesting concept. Like,
The thing about it is the game does largely play itself.
You don't.
The Pokemon are wandering around
like-
in the level, searching for Pokemon and fighting the Pokemon without much interference from you. You get to tap on the special attacks.
But you don't have to.
you don't even move
You don't
them?
have to, but that's what you get to do. No, you don't move them. They'll wander around
You
and level
you
themselves.
can just watch it.
And
Nice.
also, as you immediately open up a shop that's like, this is going to cost you 300 tickets. You have 50. Do
Okay.
you want to buy some tickets? They've learned a
No.
lot, I think, from. I immediately see a lot of similarities between Animal Crossing, the mobile game, and this, in terms of you can do all kinds of stuff, but there are a couple of things all over the place that are like, but you could get really cool decorations if you buy some tickets.
I'm glad that this game doesn't have any appeal to me because I hate when games look cool and also are like money grubbing bastards.
Well, if it's just cosmetics, right?
I know it's
You're
like
saying,
play the game.
Well, there are a couple of other things as well. I think you can spend tickets to speed up. I don't know.
Oh,
I
it's
think
like-
you
or
run
whatever.
into walls.
So
Okay.
what I've been encountering is so you have these expeditions and then you complete sort of like a world and then it opens up the next worlds but the difficulty is going up faster than my Pokemon are leveling up. So I'm going back in and I'm doing some of the easier expeditions than the max one that I've unlocked in order to try to level them up
Right.
and get them, and hunt out more stuff that I can slot in the boxes and to try and get their power levels up so they can actually beat the max expeditions I've got unlocked.
Is there a way to beat this game? Does it have an end, like a final world, or does it
I'll
keep
let you know
going?
when I get there. But
Okay.
presumably there would be an end because you're on an island and the island has to end at some point. But you can keep going back to expeditions you've already done. So
Okay.
It plays very much like a mobile game, and that's probably because it's coming out for iOS and Android next month.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. That seems weird. I don't know. Doesn't sound. Is there any tie-in to like Pokemon Go or other Pokemon games?
nope, they're saving that for Let's Go.
Okay.
I think this is just they've had success with refreshing and re-energizing audiences for their franchises via mobile games. They got Animal Crossing, they got Fire Emblem, Super Mario Run didn't go great, but you can tell that they have decided not to pursue that financial model anymore, probably for that reason.
Yeah.
And well,
You know what? Now that I think about it, I'm like, man, this might be a great game for my daughter. Like, really, when I think about it, because then it's just like, here, that'll entertain you, and it's not too hard, and she can just like go do that thing.
yep, it's really charming. It looks super cute. I love seeing every little blocky new Pokemon. I'm like, oh, look at that little guy.
And then you beat the
Geo
hell out of
dude.
him.
Looks like
Yeah.
Crossy Road.
Oh yeah, that's
hardcore looking like Crossy Road.
That's what it does look like. Yep.
I'm not super familiar with Crossy Road.
You would agree.
I would, you know what? I would agree. But I'm still playing it.
Good.
Pretty idly. It's the kind of thing that I can also just have on while I'm watching TV or something and just
Yeah, it plays itself for you.
tap at. Exactly. So we'll see. At the moment, it does feel like there's not a whole lot to play, but it's kind of cute. And it was free, so, it was worth checking out for sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Well, there's been a lot of stuff happening this week.
Yeah, it's on.
I think we should talk about some of the big announcements, but before we get into that, I also want to thank MeUndies for sponsoring this episode of Glitch Please. Look, you know MeUndies, we talk about them all the time. They gird a lot of our loins. They're the fun, comfy undies. They feel as good as they look. To those of you who haven't tried them yet, you can get incredible underwear sent to your door with MeUndies, meaning no more hunting around for the perfect pair at a crowded store and eventually settling for good enough for oh, these are kind of cute, because they're all awesome.
It's also weird when other people watch you pick out underwear. None of that happens.
Or you're rifling through a thing and you know that there have been hands all over your underwear and you don't know whose hands they are.
That's true.
They could be anyone's hands. MeUndies are made with a sustainably sourced material from beechwood trees. Their naturally soft fiber makes a fabric that won't sag down or ride up. Trust me, you put on a pair, you get it. They're nice and cozy and comfy and soft. MeUndies is so sure you'll love your first pair. If you're not happy, they'll do whatever they can to get you into the right pair. And if they can't, well, keep them and they'll refund you. They don't want them back. So it really is risk-free to try the best underwear ever. If you're still not sure, MeUndies has a deal for our viewers. First-time purchasers get 20% off their first pair of MeUndies and free shipping. So that's 20% off plus free shipping and a guarantee you and your MeUndies will live happily ever after. To get 20% off your first pair, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/glitch. That's MeUndies.com/glitch. Gus and I talk about this way more than we necessarily need to, but they've taken over my underwear drawer. They've definitely taken over his underwear drawer. We like to compare. We'll just be like, what are you wearing? I'm like, oh, I've got on the tropical pair today. What's up? What's up? All of my favorites are probably the Green Army Men, just because,
They've become
why not?
They've become Pokemon to you.
Yeah,
You're
gotta
collecting
collect
MeUndies.
them all. Well, they have new unique ones that they do, and so I'm like, oh, I gotta get some new underwear. And then one of the most exciting moments for me in our office life is when the underwear fairy comes through.
Oh yeah.
So MeUndies will send over a whole bunch of underwear, and then I will rifle through and get my paws all over everyone else's underpants too.
Perfect.
And pick out and be like, yes, and take a bunch of new underwear home.
Think of how many people you've inadvertently touched their genitals.
Reverse.
I guess.
How many genitals have inadvertently touched Ashley?
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Let's talk about what's new in news. Oh boy, all right. Since we were already talking about Pokemon, what?
We just hit a lot of great points this episode. Drinking your own, whatever, putting slots in boxes, and genital touching.
Yeah.
Talk about games here.
Video games. Appropriate video games, like Pokemon. So Nintendo has announced Pokemon Let's Go officially. I don't know, it seems like everyone is announcing everything way before E3. I don't know what's left to announce at E3.
I know, right? Especially Walmart killed it. Their presentation was real good.
Yeah, Walmart. Oh. I've been doing a lot of coordination with different video game publishers because I'm scheduling games to come on our live show, which we're doing, which you should absolutely tune in for. Lot of really awesome games, but let's just be like, we have, such and such, and I'm like, would I have potentially heard about this from potentially a retailer? And they're like,
Maybe.
so they got a good game face, but I'm like, I have a pretty decent idea what some of the unannounced titles are, and it's like Walmart's a hell. That's a tricky one too, because what are they gonna do? Walmart is one of the biggest retailers in the world, and we're gonna be like, you can't have our games.
Oh yeah, no, of course not.
Big punishment.
Yeah, it's just more of hey,
yeah,
don't do that again. That was bad.
But Walmart keeps doing it.
I know. Target's really bad too.
They keep posting all kinds of stuff. Anyway, Pokemon Let's Go. It has been announced for the Switch. There are two versions. There's Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.
The one I'll be getting.
How did they pronounce Eevee in the trailer? It was like Eevee. or something like that. At the
I
very
didn't
end.
catch that. Did they really?
Maybe
Yeah.
it was text to speech.
They say it real weird. I think it's like an in-game pronunciation, or maybe it's a Japanese pronunciation, but it's real weird, real different than I expected.
Yeah, this is this is not a core Pokemon title. This is if you were expecting the classic RPG, you know, the turn-based. Here's you go battle your wild Pokemon in the tall grass and catch them and all that. It works very, very differently. The leaks that came out previously, and I think we've discussed them on Glitch Please. We've definitely discussed them on the No. Were basically spot on.
Except for the fact that we thought that this was going to be a core Pokemon game, right?
We wondered if this was going to be a new gen, yes.
Yeah.
But they're actually
that's really
saving their
strange
new
about it.
gen game for 2019.
Yeah.
This is, more than anything, this is to capitalize on the success of
Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
They're
Like,
trying to
it's
get
Gen
the
1
Go
and
players
Alolan, right?
who are playing on mobile to buy a Switch.
So, you know, I feel when I was watching this trailer and they announced that tie-in with Pokemon Go and how you'll be able to transfer them, right? It's like you could I felt like I could almost hear it somewhere in the distance, like those Pokemon Go players that have still been playing like hardcore, being like, yes, you know, like finally, like Brian Riley from
Only the first generation of Pokemon.
But I also
only the original 150.
and Alolans.
I wonder
and
what
their Alolan forms, yes.
I wonder what you actually, if they actually add to, can you when in the trailer you transfer them over and they go to a Pokemon Go park. So it's just like, oh, you have a park full of Pokemon and you can go tickle them or whatever.
I mean, honestly,
We don't know.
if you can import all of the original gen Pokemon to this game from the start,
Yeah, it would make
because you've
sense.
got a completed Pokedex, that completely destroys the balance of the game for one,
Yeah.
and it destroys any reason to play it and try and catch them. So instead of the normal fight the Pokemon and then throw the Pokeballs at it and great job, you captured it.
Yeah.
This is, you know, you're flicking the Joy-Con. It's a Go-style capture mechanic.
What are you shaking?
No, that I didn't. I was a child and I giggled at flicking your Joy-Con.
Flicking your
because of all the
Joy-Con.
other stuff that we've been talking about. Hey, it's a weird episode.
Just so you guys know, apparently the Pokemon CEO came out and said that there's going to be one completely new Pokemon in the game that's going to hint at what Gen 8 Pokemon's going to be.
Oh, that's right.
So the selling point for this game is that there will be a new Pokemon in it
It's good. What are they going to
that
do?
will tease the
It's
2019
going to be like
Pokemon
a
game.
waffle.
It's
like
it's Mew3.
Mew 3.
I don't know, man.
You're totally right
I'm
on the park thing, by the way.
Interested in it. I'm really confused as to what you're going to be doing, because you're not going to be battling wild Pokemon, which is super weird. You're just going to go up and catch them.
But you can battle NPCs.
You can battle trainers.
And they will be turn-based, so it's not going to be in Pokemon
not
Go.
the
if you're
active battle.
fighting, it's just like the tap fest. It's not going to be that. It will be turn-based.
Okay.
It does. I will say they showed like a quick glimpse of an active or of a turn-based battle, and it reminds me of Pokemon Coliseum because it has like dynamic camera angles, and I'm like, yeah, I like that. Looks real cool.
Oh, that's exactly what I said too when I was like when they did the battle. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's Pokemon Stadium.
Oh, Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah.
That's what it was,
No, it's all good.
yeah.
And then they have that controller.
I'm super excited for everyone to walk around with their Pokeballs hanging off their waistband because that's fucking awesome.
Finally happening, and it'll glow and it'll make noise.
It's just like the
Apparently,
Pokewalker.
you can pet it or something, and it will increase the bond with your Pokemon.
Yeah, it probably will.
Bond.
Do you remember when Burger King had those Pokeballs?
Yeah,
Like,
the
way
ones
back
with
in
gold
the day.
cards inside?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. And then like people would walk around with them on their belt. I remember. I might have been that kid in school.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm curious to know like how much game there is because like it's not a core Pokemon RPG, but then I'm curious to know like are we gonna have a story to go through?
It looks
So
like
it's a reimagining of Pokemon Yellow.
It's like Yellow Special Edition. something
Yeah,
like that.
Yellow Pikachu edition.
Pikachu edition, yeah.
And so it is going to be based on a lot of that. It's it's Kanto region. The assumption based on it being wow, nice.
They were huge.
So the assumption based on it being a reimagining of Pokemon Yellow is that yes, there will be a story to go through. It will probably be different. Like it's not going to align 100% with Pokemon Yellow, but the fact if there was no story to go through, why would they bother doing that?
Totally.
So I'm sure there will be. You can also play co-op. And they haven't really outlined how that's going to work yet. So again, I'm making some assumptions here, but based on the way that other multiplayer games have worked with Super Mario Odyssey, where someone can drop into your game, they're the hat, they're helping you out, but it's not like they're going to take the moons over into their game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It will
well,
probably
They
be
showed they showed dual ball throws.
yes, exactly.
Which is interesting.
But it would be really cool if
I held it together, man, and then you smiled.
I saw you doing this.
it would be cool if when someone drops into your game, they just select their profile.
Yeah.
Because you can have multiple profiles on the Switch, which is another
Right.
thing that is going to be new to this game. Because previously you couldn't have multiple profiles, multiple saves on a single console that you could play a Pokemon game on.
Yeah.
Because 3DS is like, you got your one profile, you got
Right.
your one save. So this way people can split it out a little bit. Maybe they can select a profile.
That's interesting.
And then the Pokemon they
Customize the
catch, they, I don't know, mail it to a Poke Center in their game, and then they can pick them up. That would be how I'd like to see it play out. Chances are it'll be drop-in,
Yeah.
be assistant, like, if your kid wants to play, you are helping them catch the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
something like that, which is still cool.
It would be neat
Yeah,
if you could do like duo battles and have, one person Pokemon be controlled by the other person and then, back and forth, like 2-on-2.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Fun.
fun.
There is going to be multiplayer, but not ranked. Like you can battle people.
Right. I'm pretty excited for this just because it looks really sharp. I think aesthetically it's real nice. I'm a little unsure about the catching Pokemon mechanic. I like the idea of throwing a Pokeball at something. I don't know if I like the idea of not battling in the wild.
Yeah.
But I don't know, dude. It looks pretty cool. Like people are kind of vitriolic about this game. It seems kind of divisive.
Well, there are reasons for that, though. One, people have been wanting a Pokemon game on Switch, a
Or
core
just on
Pokemon
console forever.
game on
Well-
on console forever, on Switch. Well, since it, for the last year.
Yeah.
But this is not what people had in mind. A lot of, I think, it feels weird to say like the hardcore Pokemon players, but the hardcore
there
Pokemon
are.
players,
Sorry.
not fan of, they don't want Go invading their game.
And I get that. But it does seem like they didn't make it clear, but they implied that there's a Pokemon Go park that you'll bring your friends to. And it's not like you're going to bring in your Charizard and beat all the level 1 trainers or whatever. So that's one of my hopes for this game, is that the Pokemon Go integration isn't key.
Yeah.
It's just it's an element that will add some like pat on the back of Pokemon Go players.
Yeah.
Right, they're going to want some way to incentivize the Pokemon Go players. I was looking at, and there's a reason that they are trying to go after this Pokemon Go crowd. The revenue that they made. Ben, can you do me a favor and look up? There's the Pokemon Company's revenue over the last couple years that's been floating around. It basically went from something like it was like 50 million. They had an investment year and it was maybe 5 million, and then it was like 145 million that
wow.
they made the year Pokemon Go came out.
Wasn't it?
I spent some money-
They've made a lot of money off this.
I feel like I was reading somewhere that like per day Pokemon Go is making like $1 million or something, or like probably more. It was insanity.
Yeah, I mean,
when that thing was like the first month that thing was out, it was that was honestly one of like the coolest times in gaming.
Oh, it was great. Dude.
When
It was
you would
just
walk
going
around
out
and you'd be like,
seeing
I know
other
what
people.
everyone's fucking playing Pokemon.
Yeah, I know,
It's so cool.
Like you were saying before, though, was you saying? No, John. Last week, John was telling us, because he's been playing Pokemon Go again.
Yeah.
And he went to, I think, a community day event that was down at the Capitol. And just still,
Yeah.
this much later, seeing hundreds of people gathering in real life to participate in these events is a pretty cool thing.
So I found two things. It looks like in 2016, they reported a 3.3 billion retail revenue, and then Pokemon Go actually in June 30th in 2017 passed 1.2 billion in revenue. So it seems like it's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, their revenue, and this is outdated because this is like the revenue as of last August, was doing had 100 million downloads, 20 million plus active users daily.
That's crazy.
And obviously that's dropped, just the game has aged, people move on, but there were a lot of people that really, really got into that who have not been playing the core Pokemon titles for a while.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so if they can say, hey guys, we got something new for you. We got that, but a more experience.
Yeah, yeah.
More.
just all you need is a Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to try and get as many of those people as they can. And it'll be like, also, all that stuff you got in Go, you'll be able to bring into this game. That's going to get a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm sure
Nintendo's trying to sell 20 million Switches this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, Smash Brothers, going to sell a lot of those. You know what else is going to sell a lot of those? Pokemon.
Yep. Yeah.
Anything Pokemon.
I think that having this game as sort of like a median game, like waiting, like a sort of tiding people over game, is actually a really good thing for the core Pokemon game, because it means they have more time to work on it.
Yep.
And like I felt like if they did put a Pokemon game out, you know, a year and a half after the system launched, they might be a little rushed. And knowing that they have an extra year is like, it's good. I think it's all good things.
Well, they also very definitely, clearly hedged their bets by announcing the core Pokemon game when they announced this.
Wow.
I don't know if this came in during maybe their test groups, or maybe they saw the response to the leaks that were people saying, this is not the Pokemon I wanted, where's my core Pokemon?
Yeah.
And decided to hedge their bets and be like, hey, if this isn't your thing, that's cool, don't worry, we are working on one for you. So they're trying not to alienate the core Pokemon crowd by saying there's still one coming. Don't write Switch off just yet.
Totally.
Which version are you going to get? Eevee for me.
Ooh,
I think I'm a
probably
Pikachu
Eevee.
man.
Oh, really?
I like my little yellow guy. He's cool. He does lightning.
Good little,
He does. Well, so does Eevee. Eevee can be anything. That's the beauty
I don't know.
of it.
Can you evolve Eevee in this game? We don't know yet.
I mean, that would be ridiculous.
yeah, I mean, how they're gonna work that out will be interesting, I think, but probably Eevee.
Okay.
I like Eevee. Look at the face.
I look how
Eevee
pissed
face.
off it is in the screenshot, too. It's like, I'm going to fuck you up.
It means
Eevee,
business.
I love it.
Grr.
Eevee can be so many things.
Yeah.
Also, we got another game announcement. These came back to back. Fallout 76.
Yeah.
The new game that Bethesda's working on. It looks like this is probably Bethesda Game Studios and the former Battlecry studio that's actually based here in Austin, working on a new, it looks like it's going to be a multiplayer online Fallout game.
With an Overwatch crossover.
What?
It's
Soldier
like,
76?
He's got that looks so much like Soldier 76's jacket.
So this is going to be a unique one. This is, as the name implies, based on Vault 76, which was one of the control vaults. So this is not one of the, it's not Vault 77, which I think was one person and a bunch of puppets. This is going to be Control Vault, normal-ish, but the variable of this one is it was scheduled to open 20 years later, but based on the date that they show in the trailer, it looks like it's about 25 years later.
Yeah, the date right there.
Right. So, not sure if maybe it's opening 5 years late, maybe it opened,
Or it's
and they were
been
all like,
open for
what if we
5
just
years?
stay here? Or, yeah, what exactly that is. But regardless, this is like 150 years prior to Fallout 3.
Earliest Fallout game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way they announced it was really cool, too. They just started streaming.
It was
that.
not really cool, I will say, having people sit looking at a stream for X amount of time with no indications when it would actually begin.
So, yeah.
Were you one of those people?
I had it on during the workday.
I think we all did. I am so curious how much bandwidth everyone across Rooster Teeth used with a couple hundred people tuning in all to this same stream and just streaming it for the entire workday. But
See, I was just like, oh, that's cool. I'll hear
I-
about it.
I wasn't,
Like,
actually-
they
I wasn't
announced
that
it.
mad about it.
yeah, so
Right.
they basically put out a tweet saying, with a please stand by and the test screen. They launched their live stream. Actually, I think they launched the live stream, but then they tweeted later, sort of pointing people to it. And so they launched this live stream. And initially, we're all like, all right, here we go. Wait 30 minutes, whatever. Stream kicks off. We'll get an announcement. It'll be great. And it just sort of kept going.
Yeah.
Initially, with the tweet and the stream starts up, I think we were all expecting this would be Fallout 3 Remastered. 10 years on.
Right, yeah.
It makes sense. Do like a 10th anniversary edition of Fallout 3, which, by the way, I think we still might get. Maybe that's an E3 announcement. But
Yeah, they shouldn't make a big deal out of remasters like this. though.
right.
Yeah.
So that's why the longer this went on, I was like, okay, maybe this isn't a remaster. Maybe this isn't Fallout Shelter related, because people would be furious if they just had this whole thing. There were 150,000 people just sitting on the stream watching the Vault Boy bobblehead and with the screen in the background, and occasionally someone would throw put balloons across the screen or walk through and just 24 hours later, they announced Fallout 76. Right. So it was kind of a cool event. I'm happy that this is a new game. And I say new because what I'm hearing is that it was originally going to be a multiplayer Fallout 4.
Is it a battle royale?
No.
No, I don't think it. Oh, God. We were making a bunch of jokes about that.
100 vaults open.
Jason Schreier from Kotaku has very reliably reported many leaks in general. He has said that he has sources that confirm that this will not be, it will be a multiplayer game. It will not be a traditional single-player RPG experience. And I think a lot of people are also speculating that it's going to be like a survival game.
Right, so think
Cool.
Rust.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about that because I think me, along with many other people that don't like open PvP, might maybe not be into that.
I'm down.
I know.
Of course you are.
But there was also one post on Reddit that came out a few hours before the trailer came out, and he said, it's going to be called Fallout 76, and it's going to have a focus on base building.
So there was actually months ago, I think they might have even been last year, this is months and months ago, there was an anonymous post made to 4chan that said Fallout 76. They named it. They called the name and they said it's going to be an online game like Rust. So that information has actually been around for months and months, but no one paid much attention to it because it's anonymous. There's no vetting of the source, and so it just sort of sat there and got ignored.
I think that
But it's crazy that information's been out there, and we were we didn't get it.
Don't break NDAs, dudes. I'm curious because Fallout is like the perfect setting for a survival game. I mean, it's a post-apocalyptic wasteland where people faction together and build up their bases and scavenge and whatever. It's a great setting. It's also like the first time we've seen a big developer make a survival. If it is a survival game, the first time we've seen them make a survival game. Like it's normally indie developer kind of thing. You have Ark, you have Rust, you have Conan. It's all like smaller teams. Like this is if it is a survival game, maybe it's going to be real good or real big compared to everything else.
Well, let's see. And Battlecry, I think, former Battlecry. I don't know what to call it now. Bethesda Game Studios Austin.
Boston. No, doesn't work.
Is not the hugest team either. So I'm not sure to what extent they're leading it versus Bethesda Game Studios in Maryland or how that balance is shaking out. But this might not be the hugest game either. I'm sure they're relying on a lot of the sort of pre-built stuff that they have available to them.
I don't necessarily mean scale. I just mean like a level of polish and production quality that goes into it.
I'm sorry.
Polish,
Did you just say polish?
Our polished Fallout game.
Going to be completely bug-free.
Yes. But I'm still pretty optimistic. I like that we had 2 announcements back-to-back that are like, here's your series you know and love, we're going to throw wrenches into it and change it up a lot.
It's really scary when anybody changes the formula because gamers don't really respond well to change for the most part, So,
but it's also, this is not Fallout 5. So people can still look forward to Fallout 5 one day.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
One of the, I think, variables up in the air too is how big the focus on base building is and how persistent all that is. Well, also how many players this multiplayer game would be. If you are building a base, are you in a persistent server forever? Can other people invade that base? How does that all work?
Right.
But, correct me if I'm wrong, was the base building in Fallout 4 kind of polarizing? It seemed like some people really liked it, some people did not like it and completely just didn't deal with it any more than they absolutely had to.
It wasn't necessary, which is a key thing. Like you had to do it, I think, for one story mission. But for the rest of it, it's like, do you want better prices, better trade routes, whatever? And I didn't care about it, so I did not interface with it at all. I know other people though, like that was
really
their thing.
Gonna do it, yeah.
So I think the making it necessary will be a huge change for people, if it is necessary. It sounds like from that one post, it was like it's gonna have a focus on it, which to me makes it sound like it's gonna be part of the core gameplay. Right,
like maybe to unlock certain things or to progress, you're gonna need this element. Like if we were to draw a parallel out to State of Decay 2, or State of Decay in general, where you had a base, and then you build certain things like different components for that base. Well, you know what I'm saying, State of Decay 2, because that's a recent game that came out, but pretty much any base
Yeah.
building game has that, where you Fallout Shelter, perhaps.
Yeah.
Where you need to build a new component in order to do a new thing, and so I would imagine that it would be very much along those lines.
Yeah.
Interesting. They also have a record now for like the largest like series title jump, like Windows 8 to Windows 10,
Yeah.
iPhone, right? And they're just like
I thought about
76.
that, but then it's like Windows 2000 or whatever.
What, ME?
Yeah. Well, there was
Windows 2000.
There was
2000 was
Millennium
like
Edition
the
as well.
Yeah.
Pro version. Remember when they had like Windows NT, and then 2000 was like the next one of that to go with, what was it, 98 to ME?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. God, ME was a piece of shit.
But
That's when we were worried about Y2K. Sorry, you
only 90s kids will understand. I know. But I'm really interested to see what they are going to be announcing at E3. I think Pete Hines on Twitter has teased that this is going to be they're like, this is our longest E3 presentation yet. We've got so much stuff to talk about.
Oh, wow.
So them announcing what like would normally be a hallmark game of a Bethesda presentation at E3 before E3
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That
is kind of nuts.
tells me that there's going to be some other big game there.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I sure hope we're going to hear something about Starfield.
That's what I've got my fingers crossed for, is please be Starfield.
Yeah.
It seems like, honestly,
Scrolls.
a lot of games that I would expect to announce at E3 have just decided to go ahead and make.
Yeah, Bethesda's announced 2 games.
Yeah.
What?
Because they also had Rage 2. It seems like after the whole Walmart thing, Rage just decided to go for
It's
it.
like, yeah, F it. Why not?
Yeah.
Pokemon, we'd been hearing
always
rumblings
does this,
that they
though.
were going to do theirs. Yeah, I think is going to be probably a Smash-focused E3 and then sharing more details about this. But I'm really curious to see what Bethesda's bringing now if this didn't make it into their E3 presentation. So, no pressure.
Or a
Bethesda.
good chunk
it'll-
is going to be focused on what this game is.
Well, I'm sure we're going to get. We're definitely going to.
Good.
They've said we're going to get information on what
Like
the
all
hell
the
this is.
gameplay, all that sort of stuff.
Danny O'Dwyer of No Clip has also posted a trailer for a documentary about the making of this game that will post after E3. Or
Slash also
sorry,
the
after their
studio.
presentation at E3. It's like
Okay.
June 12th or something like that.
Right.
So we're definitely going to hear something about what the hell this game is.
So pretty excited about that. Final item of news. PUBG Corp is suing over Fortnite.
Okay, I'm really curious. Like, what? How? On
That's
what
about right.
grounds?
I think
Okay.
the big things they're focusing on are like weapon. Was it weapon similarities? You probably have.
So
story.
They don't have like they didn't take code or anything like that. They're straight up just trying to sue them because they think their game's too similar to
They
us.
said UI interface stuff is similar.
They're saying, so this is a statement from Chang Han Kim, who's the executive producer and Bluehole VP, saying, we've had an ongoing relationship with Epic Games through PUBG's development, as they are the creators of Unreal Engine 4, the engine we licensed for the game. After listening to the growing feedback from our community and reviewing the gameplay for ourselves, we're concerned that Fortnite may be replicating the experience for which PUBG is known. And then in September, so they've been, this has been a multi-month process. In September last year, a Bluehole rep said, we just want to emphasize this is only a problem because Epic Games is the company that makes the engine we use, and we pay a large amount of royalties to them. And we had this business relationship with them, and we had trust that we would be getting continued support, and we were looking forward to working more closely with them to get technical support, maybe develop new features. But our name was used to officially promote their game without our knowledge. There was no discussion. It was just a bit surprising and disappointing to see our business partner using our name officially to promote the game mode that is pretty similar to us, and there was a misunderstanding in the community that we're officially involved in the project.
I can give them that. I'll give them that. Using the name and the misrepresentation, they can go after him like that. But like,
They said, we've seen how successful, or we've seen how awesome like PUBG is. We wanted to give you a similar experience, but our take on it.
Yeah,
Right,
well,
well,
they
they
were
wanna do
like,
an
we
arcadey
really like PUBG. We think we can do that, so we did.
Yeah, but
That's kind of what it
man,
came out to.
this is a bad look for Bluehole. Is it Bluehole?
Yeah, so PUBG Corp, which is a subsidiary of Bluehole,
Right.
which is, here's the thing, they're both partially owned by Tencent,
of course, because
so
Tencent's got a
owning
finger in everything.
And it looks like this is primarily focused on Korea. So they, I think, are trying to halt the invasion of Fortnite into Korea. My theory on this is because PUBG they want to do something with esports, and they don't want Fortnite coming in and basically taking over all that, because Fortnite's obviously gained so much steam and is doing,
it's crazy. And so like, this was why it's not a smart move. Like,
it's just, man,
it makes them seem petty.
Seems petty.
Yeah,
like,
they've launched a couple of other lawsuits against games that were very clearly trying to confuse people into thinking they were PUBG, like a lot of mobile games that used really similar artwork, and they looked like,
I mean, that you can
some of the cheap like copycats you see pop up on Steam all the time. So that was understandable.
Because you don't want brand confusion, right?
Right.
Like, but the thing too is like, of all the, it's not like PUBG was the first battle royale game. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that I think bothers me most about this. That they're going after them about like, oh, the game is so similar, and it's like, dude, come on.
Yeah,
we had DayZ, we had WarZ, we had H1Z1, which then did the, added the gas, and then PUBG rose from that.
It's also in popular media. It's also like in Battle Royale, the movie.
Yeah,
it's.
To some degree, I can see why they'd be like, hey, Battle Royale is like a Brendan Green thing. He did H1Z1 King of the Kill. He did the Arma mod. So he has absolutely popularized that mode.
Right.
And I can see how there would be, that feeling of ownership of the idea as a result. But you can't actually copyright an idea. So I think the only legs that PUBG Corp has to stand on would be, one would be, product confusion, because they're saying this seemed like they, were like there was an official relationship, whatever. There wasn't, or that Epic Games took advantage of insider knowledge of what PUBG was doing in the development of Fortnite.
Yeah.
But
they did their own take. It's very arcadey, and it's got building. Like,
one of the things that they're like, part of the lawsuit is that their weapons look too similar, or too.
You mean like real weapons?
Well, but they don't. If you like, Fortnite weapons don't look.
You're right. They're crazy. They're like over the top and ridiculous.
That's part of the lawsuit. The other part.
There's a couple.
There's stuff. There's stuff like but it's an AK.
I know, right?
Like it's just some of this stuff is fucking crazy. Like I don't understand why they would put this publicity on themselves. There's also a really interesting. Someone on Reddit brought up like Epic obviously licenses their engine to PUBG. Right. If Epic wanted to, they could go in and audit them and see like if you're licensing our engine properly or improperly, we could just shut you down and force you to be pulled from whatever services, like Too Human.
I mean, I was going to say that kind of happened before with Silicon Knights.
It's funny because I accidentally said Dennis Dyack earlier.
Yeah.
When I met Carmack, and now here he is.
You've summoned the man.
I don't think that would ever happen. I don't think that Epic would want that sort of bad publicity of like, hey, we shut down your favorite game, but they could.
Come play Fortnite.
Nobody gave a shit about Too Human. That just made it semi-relevant again, because the last time it was in the news was when Dennis Dyack was telling everyone who reviewed it poorly just couldn't understand the game.
Yeah, I love that.
Always goes over well.
Yeah, exactly. And then they all had to be recalled and destroyed. That was my favorite part. That Walmart had to they had to pull them all and just destroy them.
Yeah, that was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Just destroyed that studio. So there is a risk there. If Epic wanted to fight dirty, they could. And boy, Bluehole and PUBG Corp I hope they are fully within every single line item of their licensing agreement. Otherwise,
surely
that's
they
trouble.
went through that before making. Then again, I don't know. There's been so many dumb decisions.
Presumably. But
I was looking up some numbers just on PUBG versus Fortnite and how it's currently doing, and apparently PUBG's peak concurrent player count has dropped by more than 50% since January.
Yeah.
It used to be around 3 million, and now they're sitting at about 1.5 million. And I think their average number of players playing at a time is 950,000, whereas Fortnite's is, let's see, I have it right here, 45 million players and over 3 million average players.
Yeah, and let's be clear. I think a lot of people are gonna try and create a narrative of oh, PUBG is dead anyway. They're just trying to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Those numbers are still insane.
Oh yeah, they're still crazy. Like 1.4 million player base. Is that what you said? Yeah, fucking great.
You know, average player count of being 900,000 people playing at any given time. That's still huge.
Yep.
Drop off in any multiplayer game is a thing that happens.
Yep.
The game has been out. People play it. Eventually, they move on. Well, and then usually, but then you always get like that core that continues playing on. So if you have a core continuing to play on of 900,000 people at any given time, that's still huge.
Yeah.
So it's not that PUBG has, become this completely irrelevant thing, and they're just trying to, like eke out the last month or two of profits
But
that they can.
it makes it seem that way.
It does. And Fortnite is kicking their ass right now.
Fortnite's kicking everything's ass right now.
Fortnite-
This is one of the biggest gaming turnarounds of all time.
My nephew, I set up this last weekend. He's always wanted a gaming PC, and so I've been kind of like keeping my ear to the ground, and like when people were upgrading stuff or whatever, like I kind of pieced together a thing and then bought a couple parts for the rest, right? And surprised him on the weekend, and we built it together. It was this cool like bonding experience,
That's awesome.
right? So like, yeah, it was great. But then one of the first things he's like, all right, we got to install Fortnite because I hear it's like really good on PC because he's been playing on Xbox, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, do you play Fortnite? Because I was like asking him like, where's the settings for graphics? He's like, you don't play Fortnite? I'm like, I mean, I play more
like,
PUBG, and he's like. Whatever, and I'm just like, God damn, like, apparently, like, the youth, it's all Fortnite. He's talking about Fortnite streamers and all that shit.
What can you do? It's free.
Yeah.
It's a free game. All your friends can play together. It's like.
And in spite of being free, it's making a ton of money for Epic.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the secret of all the free games, right? They're all managing to make so much money via their optional microtransactions.
Dude,
GG League of
I don't
Legends.
know if you might have talked about this last week when I wasn't here, but they're putting up $100 million for Fortnite tournament prizes. $100 million. If they're willing to put up $100 million for Fortnite tournament prizes, like how much money are they fucking making?
Oh yeah.
I think there have been some numbers about that.
They made
but
about
if you want to check those up.
300 million just in April alone.
All right,
So
that's
they can
enough.
afford 100
Holy
million in prize pool. That's not gonna.
That's
Honestly, at
insane.
this point, that's a drop in the bucket for them.
Man, I should start playing Fortnite.
I wonder if like I wonder if you put $100 million in prize pool, it's like tax write off at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man.
How much is in the prize pool for Sea of Thieves? Huh?
$10.
And
$10.
Damn.
crickets.
Oh man. Yeah, not a good look for PUBG Corp.
Yeah, so
not
we'll
great.
see. I imagine they'll probably have more to talk about. They may be outlining more of their roadmap, more of their upcoming developments here at E3, which is like now 2 weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun for both Epic, who I know they've got an event at E3, PUBG as well. E3 is going to be crazy.
I'm so excited.
We should talk about that.
Okay.
But before we do, I want to say thank you to Discord for sponsoring this episode of Glitch, Please. Discord is the best place for people to come together around games, super easy to use on your PC or mobile device. It can be used for voice, community forums, video chat, screen share, and more. We've got a link in the description to download it onto your PC today. They have a new thing for Discord. They have recently rolled out with Xbox, so you can link your Xbox account to Discord, and that way you can communicate with your friends, as with your Xbox friends as well. So that's pretty cool. We use Discord at home a bunch.
Oh yeah.
It's just
Good- good service.
Yeah, it's easy to use. It's easy to set up. We've got like a private servers, so we get like friends and family whenever we're playing multiplayer games together. Honestly, even if we're like just as a family all in the house across from each other, we're still probably using Discord
Oh, yeah.
because that way we can have the headphones on and not being like, what? And still hear everything. It's
Yeah.
great.
Oh.
Good service to like if you want to make a server with your friends and
Yep.
like just have a friend group to talk to. I use it. It's so good.
It's almost like its own little like social media platform.
Yeah, it really
I
is.
absolutely love Discord, and like I said, I just built my my nephew's gaming PC, and one of the first things I did was like I installed Discord, and he's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Oh." Like, and I was like,
Like,
this
let
is why
me
you
show
need
you
Discord.
the
I'm like,
ways.
because if we're gonna play together, like we're gonna be in Discord. So like, yeah, it was one of the first things I put on his PC.
Yeah, so big shout out to Discord. They are doing, it's an awesome service. It's just, I think they've done everything right.
Yep.
As far as making it easy to set up, easy to use. It's reliable. All very important things. So if you haven't checked it out, download Discord. There's a couple of Rooster Teeth community servers,
Yep.
Discord servers as well. So you can find those. Join us, have a chat. It'll be fun. You can share with us also via Discord your E3 predictions, because that's what we're going to talk about next. So you know the story about that, right?
Yeah.
Bernie's story about that?
You feel free to tell me.
No, what's
So the whole story about Snoop Dogg and Bernie is EA did this whole. It was Battlefield 1. I think it was either Battlefield 1 or Battlefront 2.
It was Battlefield 1.
Yeah,
Battlefield 1. Okay. And so he went to this whole huge player event that they were doing, and they were broadcasting out, and he was between Snoop Dogg and like 2 other people who are just straight up smoking. They did not remotely care. They were smoking, having a really good time, and so he's just like in the middle of this trifecta. And one of the EA guys came over to him and was like, "How you doing? You okay?" And he's like, "I can't see you right now." He came back to our stream. He took
like
all the red
super
vines,
high.
laid down on the floor, and took a nap. That is in the E3 stream somewhere. I can't remember.
That is my
was
fucking
one of
nightmare.
like Sunday or Monday streams. He's just like, there's Bernie sleeping in the middle of the stream.
Oh my God, that's
It
so
was
funny.
great.
That's awesome.
But E3 coming up this year is going to be a crazy one. I'm expecting a lot based on all the games that have not made the cut for E3 announcements. Or I don't know, maybe they didn't want to share the spotlight because there are so many announcements at E3. It can be hard to get more than about 30 minutes of attention because there's just so much going on. But there's a lot of things that I think we're all hoping to see at E3 and that we all want to see at E3. First big prediction, and a lot of this is also prediction / wish list, is Starfield.
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm expecting it at this point though, which is a problem because if they don't announce it,
You're
I'm
gonna
like,
be pissed.
great, just a Fallout survival game, meh. But I feel like
Sorry, what was that, Adam?
What? Excuse me, that wasn't me. Yeah.
So Starfield is this rumored, secret, not officially announced Bethesda project. We think this is their new IP. A couple years ago, they trademarked Starfield, which is why everyone's calling it that. We don't know what the actual game name might be. There's all kinds of rumors flying around. Does this tie together the Elder Scrolls and Fallout universes? Is this like a far future? Did some people in Fallout go to space, and this is where they go off to and do their thing? Or is this completely different? But is this a single player game? Is this a multiplayer game? What is Starfield? And no one knows anything because, well, it's not announced and Bethesda's not talking about it. I would love to see that this E3.
Yeah, that'd be great. One of the things I'm most excited about for, I already know I'm gonna get, which is Smash details. So like, I'm super stoked.
Is that confirmed that they'll be talking about it?
I think so. I'm pretty sure they said that they were gonna have. They said they were gonna have it on the floor of E3.
Oh,
I'm
right,
pretty sure.
right.
So yeah, they'll definitely be talking about that. So I'm looking forward to details on that.
What do you want out of Smash?
New game.
New game. Yeah.
You just want
Just a new Smash.
Just new Smash.
Yeah, and like I think as long as it resembles nothing of Brawl, we're all good. Like, cause I like Melee is like super fast, and like I'm not really a Melee player, but I love watching Melee. I love Smash 4. Brawl was a train wreck.
I don't
Why was Brawl
know
a
the
train wreck?
differences between the games.
Well, Brawl it felt really weird to play. Like it was like, and there was a tripping mechanic that they added. Like literally, like you could just be running and your character would fall over. So imagine having that just RNG randomness in a fighting game. It's fucking infuriating. Like it's awful.
That's a crazy choice.
Oh, it really was. I didn't like Brawl, but Smash 4 I love. I play the hell out of Smash 4. DDD main, by the way, one of the few. But
So you want it to be fast-paced, like Melee?
no, I'd like it to be like I actually prefer Smash 4 over Melee. So please don't crucify me for that. But like I'm really loving where Smash 4 is right now. But I'm just curious to see like what the next steps are.
Smash 4 was the most recent one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that's on Wii U and 3DS currently.
What characters would you like to see in Smash that we don't know about yet? There have been rumors that maybe Castlevania characters might make it.
Potentially, I think Sora would be super cool.
Sora would be really cool.
Yeah, I think that kind of makes sense. Like I just see Sora fitting really easily into that. And like, yeah, at this point, like nothing's off the table.
Well,
like when they were like, because it's just like, oh, Solid Snake.
I
Well,
would die if they put Solid Snake in it again. I know they
though.
won't, but I wish they would.
And then we got Cloud, Bayonetta, like, which, oh man, that was so funny.
They do have that good relationship with Square Enix.
The two big like new ones that I'm seeing that are rumors are Ridley, which was a big rumor back when the last Smash was announced, and Simon Belmont, and then also possibly the return of Ice Climbers.
Except unless they can, but if they have wobbles, man, everybody's gonna be.
Is that the move that like you can just one shot someone by?
It's an like, infinite grab.
Yeah.
And so the guy, the pro that like really like coined it, his name was Wobbles. So everybody calls it Wobbles when that happens. And like you want to see like the best like melee rage moment.
I went on a YouTube hole where I watched melee rage compilations based on Ice Climbers. That's a fun rabbit hole, dude.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, like man, you'll see like you'll see a lot of thrown GameCube controllers. Like this set, you just see literally like the character lands the grab and the guy's already just like fuck this, and then walks off, and then the person just chain grabs him until he's gone.
The general reaction seems to be like, why is this in the goddamn game? Why are they allowed to play this character? I hate it.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I'd love for a balanced DDD. That would be wonderful. I love the character. He's currently like low tier, but I just really enjoy playing him because he's a huge penguin and he's silly and fun. But so I would love like a balanced DDD. Also, I'll throw this out there because anybody who's a Jigglypuff main, I'm sure they're really looking forward to Jigglypuff getting some buffs. Jigglypuff is like the worst character in Smash 4, and there's actually a website. I think it's called buffthepuff.com.
I'm not going to go directly to that site.
Oh, I did.
Or maybe it's Buff Puff. If you just Google it, just Google.
There's Puff Puff. I'm scared to go to Puff Puff.
It's not Puff Puff.
Okay.
It's like Puff or something like that. Anyway, it's a website solely dedicated to.
Don't go to buffthepuff.com, please. You don't want to know what's on there.
It's solely dedicated to tracking the last time since Jigglypuff got a buff, and it's nowhere.
All I'm finding is loofahs.
How can you not find?
I'm finding sponges.
Here, I got this.
All right.
I am obviously really interested to know if Shadows Die Twice or whatever that game might be called, the From Software game that I don't know if it was Gamescom or E3. At some point, From Software came out, released a trailer that showed a whole bunch of nothing, and it said Shadows Die Twice. I'm hoping that will be either a Bloodborne 2 or a new IP. It's not going to be a Dark Souls, that's pretty clear, but Shadows Die Twice seems like it could be a Bloodborne. It looks very Bloodborne. And maybe Shadows Die Twice is the catch line for, Bloodborne people die 2 times.
Chad, it used to be buffpuff.club, but it expired a month ago.
Oh, that's why.
Oh, poor Buff Puff Club.
That's what it was. Anyway, it was a tracker, but yeah, I'd love to see that. Cool. I just want to see what Capcom's doing.
What do you want from Capcom?
I would love a new version. I haven't been super stoked about Street Fighter V. Didn't really click with me. I would like to see what the next fighting game is.
Street Fighter V Super Plus.
They said they weren't going to do that. They're going to keep updating 5 and through DLC.
I guess there's no reason to now that you can do DLC, but
I want to see what Microsoft has in store.
Yeah.
There are rumors floating around that Crackdown 3 might be delayed out of this year. Again, so this is a game that was announced 2014. It was going to come out 2016. Slipped. After last E3, I think they went back to rework some things because they showed gameplay, and the response from everyone was, "This looks last gen. This doesn't look up to what we expect." So they may have gone back to start reworking that. It seems like it's very troubled development. That it always
bodes real well for a
game. It hasn't shaped up the way they hoped, so they're trying to like work it, massage it, make it go. But then that leaves, if that is not coming out this year, that leaves a pretty big hole for Microsoft. Sea of Thieves is out. State of Decay 2 is out.
Don't laugh at that. It's a fun game.
Based on the Walmart leak, we can expect Forza Horizon 5 because they're just going to skip 4, I guess. But a new Forza Horizon, which I'll be honest, that one would make me very, very happy. I don't normally get into pure racing games. Well, not the closer they get to like sim stuff. I used to love arcade racing games like the PGR 3.
Oh, PGR was
Mario
my
Kart,
jam,
yes,
dude.
but Mario Kart's almost its own genre.
Right.
But yeah, PGR 3 was so much fun. And
what was that one? Was Neon or something like that? Bright or what was that game?
Neon sounds right.
It might be
something neon.
Yeah.
Is it a street racer game?
It was well, it was kind of like Mario Kart but with real cars. And,
There's Neon Race.
It was like,
That's a mini clip game.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Neon Rider. Anyway.
Blur.
Blur?
That was
Oh.
it. Thanks.
Blur. Okay.
I miss like Midnight Club 2 racing games, like you get a street racer, you get put neon kits on it. Whew.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the fun stuff.
Yeah. So,
That just-
if we get another Forza Horizon, I'd be super stoked. Forza Horizon 3 kind of took me by surprise. I was playing it like, yeah, I'll check it out, whatever. Really got into it. It was so much fun, just the open world, being able to drive around wherever, trying to unlock all the different roads and see everything that is on offer, which, it's based in Australia, so there's a lot of cool different like types of areas. And they were all a lot of fun. The soundtrack was spectacular.
Cool.
And you'd be driving along, and at any moment, just some challenge could pop up. You could make custom challenges, and then they would populate out into the world.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was cool. Plus, you'd be driving along, there'd just be this point to be like, do you want to do this? And you go, yeah, why not? And then suddenly you're off on a race. And so that was brilliant. I love drivatars. That sounds so stupid, but I
Oh,
really
yes, the
love.
drivatars.
I would be playing and like leveling up and getting better, and then I would be getting tweets from people saying, "Hey, your drivatar just showed up in my game and kicked my ass," and I'd be like, "Yeah, you go, drivatar. I'm all about that." Like, no, that was me. That was me.
It wasn't-
I get all the credit for that.
I don't think
I trained it.
I don't think it was Forza. What was it? It was a few E3s ago, and they were talking about this car game. But like the presentation where they were revealing it was this guy that was like so into it. It looks like he was like down to have sex with that car. I'm trying to remember what it was.
That's like every racing game.
No, this
where
one was
they'll
like-
bring a big car up out of the stage and be like, a game with this car in it.
So
Yeah.
weird.
This guy was like way too into it. It's the one. It was kind of like almost like an MMO, but for racing.
Was it the Crew 2?
Yes, I think it was the Crew. I think it was.
I will say that the trailer and the way the Crew 2 is presented seems really awesome. It's just got that cool kind of weird like Inception world bending going on, and I'm loving that. That just looks like, and also the new one, I think you can do like boats and planes and stuff. So
Nice.
I'm all about it. I don't know. There's something about the open worldness, I think, that that pulls me into the sort of racing games more than other stuff. You know what I would like to see?
What?
Snowboarding.
Snowboard kids?
We had
I-
Snow come out, right?
You're thinking of the Ubisoft game?
Yeah.
Steep.
Steep.
And yeah, there's maybe
1080
there's
sequel?
maybe there's like a subgenre of snowboarding that I like. I remember
1080.
Yeah, it says a 1080 sequel.
Yeah.
Right? 1080.
or like
That's
like
tricky.
Sorry. Yeah.
SSX. You know what I miss? I must not have done well enough for them to pursue it as a franchise, but I always liked Dark Summit. So
yeah.
The spy
Loved
snowboarding
Dark
game.
Summit.
Yeah.
That was so great.
So fun and dumb.
I loved it, but I haven't ever seen another one, so
Amped.
maybe it didn't do
That's
great.
what Xbox has in store. Some amped.
Yeah.
Let's do Amped.
So I actually have a list of like rumors for each different like gaming area, depending on like what you're looking for.
Yeah,
from
hit
like
us.
probably definitely going to happen to like pie in the sky dreams.
All right.
So for Microsoft, probably going to see Halo 6, Forza Horizon 4,
Scalebound.
and some other Gears of War game. There's some rumors that there could be up to 3 Gears of War games announced. One that's a traditional sequel, one that's like a RTS style game, and one that's possibly a battle royale. We'll see if that actually happens. There's some not likely rumors that NBA Jam could be coming back, as well as this would be like pie in the sky, and it's kind of already been debunked, but Sunset Overdrive 2.
Kind of busy on Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
Although, you know what?
Could be a different studio.
If you have an Xbox One and you haven't played Sunset Overdrive, it is such a great game.
They just copyright it on. They filed for a copyright on
Trademark?
PC trademark.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That was one that
So
like,
it may be coming to PC. Probably the sort of maybe they're building in the Play Anywhere library,
Yeah,
so via the
I have a feeling
Xbox
we're
app
more-
on PC, or not the Xbox app, the Windows Store.
Whatever. Yeah.
But I would be down with that. I think Sunset Overdrive, I don't think it, and I don't know why it didn't catch on more, because I thought that was easily one of the standout games of the early Xbox One library.
Oh, it looks super cool. And I don't know why, like, I was so hyped for that game. Like, out of E3 that year, I was like, fuck yeah, like Sunset Overdrive, that speaks to me in all the right ways. Like, I am ready to do this. and then it released, and I just didn't play it.
I played it, and for me, it was like you had to be into and good at the rail, like sliding on a rail as well as fighting, and that's just not like everyone's play style, but it is core to that game.
Gotcha.
So for me, it was like I would try to play it, and if you're not good at it, you're just like walking around getting killed. It's like this is not as fun as I want it to be.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But it is as you sort of like learn it and settle into that traversal style, because you're grinding like this rail, and then you're off to a power line, and then you're basically chaining all these different things while you're also shooting crazy, weird, explodey Red Bull zombies. And I'm sorry, not Red Bull. That's a trademark infringement. Yeah. But yeah, you're and it was colorful. It was fun. Of the early games, it was also the most game. A lot of initial games for new generations always seem to be like tech demos, where they're trying to like feel out what can be done. And I think games like Rise really suffered from that. But Sunset Overdrive, obviously, wasn't a launch title, but it was an early title, and it came out, and it was great. So
I'd give it another shot if it came to PC.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, would be great. But
what about a new Jet Grinder Jet Set Radio? That's
Oh
what that made me
man,
think of.
that would be great.
I like that game a lot.
Yeah.
So with Amy Hennig, with the Visceral Star Wars game getting refocused, we probably won't see that this year, or maybe we'll see a trailer.
Probably not.
Maybe we'll see like a teaser trailer or something. But do you think that we'll see? Like, I feel like with the popularity of Star Wars, the people in charge at Star Wars HQ would be very mad if there was not a Star Wars game at E3. Or we're just gonna hear more Battlefront stuff, because
They seem to be they're very consistent. Like ever since Disney took over everything, like they've been very consistently like every year some sort of Star Wars thing.
Well, but it's also EA's got the license. They have the license through 2024, 2023. So they're midway through that. This is about when normally I'd expect to see something more about like the Visceral games, except clearly that's being fully reworked. Maybe we'll see something else that's been being worked on in secret.
Yeah, I am hoping that this is pie in the sky. I hope we see a Rogue Squadron game, like another another Rogue Squadron, something in the flying, something
that'd be great.
focused. That stuff was super fun, and it just kind of went away.
That's true.
All right, what else we got?
So for Sony, it looks like we're probably going to see The Last of Us Part 2.
That's what I really want.
Yep.
Spider-Man, Days Gone, probably some Death Stranding gameplay, Dreams, Ghost of Tsushima, and maybe a remaster of Medieval.
Yeah.
Possibly some God of War DLC. That's kind of it.
Definitely don't think we're going to see God of War DLC because of how they phrased it.
Yeah, the God of War developers have basically communicated not to go expecting DLC. I would, mind you, it'd be really cool to see them eventually drop something so you can get into the realms that stay locked. That would, when you see those locked realms, you think you're like, oh, this seems like a teaser, but maybe not. Maybe it's a teaser for future potential games, not DLCs. So I'm not counting on that. I'm sure we'll see something for Last of Us 2, maybe gameplay. Hopefully gameplay at this point.
Best
I'm
game I've
very
played
excited
in the past
for.
like decade.
Was it Days Gone that had like a really poor E3 showing last year?
Kind of, yeah. So they had the announcement 2 years ago, and they showed a whole segment from the game. And then last year, they kind of showed the same segment, but they were really showing off like weather variations and how different approaches would then change your gameplay experience. But I think people were hoping for something really, really new. And so it was not the best showing for Days Gone. So I'll be curious to see what they do this year, because it seems like that game has a lot of potential. But they were, I don't know, they seemed really caught up on, a couple of like the, I don't want to say gimmicks, but some of the features that are maybe a little bit more subtle than really going in with a lot of flash.
Yeah.
Real quick, what do you think we will see in the next Death Stranding trailer?
Oh my, let's see. We've already got babies down stomachs.
Yep.
Maybe they'll tell us what it's about.
No way.
I think we're going to see like a few seconds of gameplay, and then it's going to go somewhere like wild at the end of the trailer. Everyone's gonna be like, "What the hell did I just?"
There's
see?
just a walrus
What is
talking
this?
to you. You know, you're like, what the fuck, Kojima?
Yeah, well, we do know that Kojima is working on something because he's tweeted out basically working on the E3 2018
working hard.
trailer.
You go, Kojima.
So I'm
And whatever
I'm
you're making.
so
I love
confused
that
by
guy.
that whole thing, but curious and intrigued.
So the reason I said that's it was because for those games, that was pretty much we've kind of already seen a lot of information about those games. Some of the ones that are more rumors are possibly sequels to Bloodborne or maybe Horizon Zero Dawn, as well as maybe a remake of a PlayStation classic.
Okay, I could see.
We got Crash and Spyro. What other like PlayStation classic? Jet Moto. Yeah.
Poed.
There we go.
Poed.
The one I'm seeing listed here is Siphon
Theo.
Filter.
Siphon
Siphon
Filter.
filter, interesting.
Man, I remember that game was like, dude, you want to see how you taser someone in a video game? It's the dopest. I was like, yes! Did you play Poed? Or is it Poed?
Poed. That's what it was. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Poed. Poed.
Yeah, Pio. That's right.
Frying pan in a video game. First
Yeah.
one. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing more about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game looks very, very promising. Looking forward to seeing more. Well, lots of stuff. Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, Last of Us 2.
Yep.
All of it freely. As far as what I'd like to see from them, New Horizon would be cool. Like even if it's just an early announcement, they did make it sound like that's a game that they're looking at as a franchise, not as a single title. It did really, really well.
Yep.
It's had, you know, some time to, not a ton of time, but some time to rest so they could, you know, be pre-producing and, you know, putting together what they want the next game to be so they could announce it. Although, I also like the trend we're going in, the direction of more developers and publishers announcing games if they're going to be out within a year.
Yeah.
So maybe we won't hear anything about a Horizon just
Right.
yet, and I'd be okay with that as well.
Yeah, I super appreciate the trend of like, hey, we're announcing it in June. It'll be out in like 5 months.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah,
Or
there's
we're
these
announcing
games
it and
that
it's
keep.
available now. Like
Yeah.
those,
Yeah, I love those
Or
mic
it's like
drops.
That's
Crackdown,
moments.
and it's like never gonna come out.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, this
Love
is
that.
its, you know, fourth E3, and you're just like, okay, well,
I'm tired of seeing Crackdown at this point. I don't care.
I know she mentioned it and you just started shaking your head and laughing. Like
It's like a joke. Never gonna come out. Stupid.
I've got a theory about Microsoft, about what Xbox is doing. Just because if we don't hear a really, like a whole bunch of new AAA game announcements out of E3, I wonder if they're just looking ahead to the next generation
maybe.
Oh.
and working on a lot of projects to have build, put out the Xbox to the Xbox, 720, whatever they're going with, but like basically a new generation. Because they've got their backwards compatibility and they've got their, they've
PC
got
crossplay.
Game Pass
Yeah.
and those things, they'll be able to say, hey, go ahead and upgrade. You don't lose your past library. You get to take it with you, so there's no reason not to. And here's a super strong launch lineup to try and get a head start on the next generation. Because this one, Xbox One X, I think has been good for them in terms of picking up the hardware sales. But I don't know if it's been, enough. I don't think there's any catching PlayStation at this point.
Nope.
They're based on the sort of estimates that we've got. It looks like PlayStation's probably ahead more than 2-1. So if I was Xbox, I'd be looking to the next generation.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's just a theory.
I would like a new season of Killer Instinct or Killer Instinct 2. That'd be great. I can go for that.
Yeah. And I think that was a big success for them as well, but it's been kind of
It did
quiet.
really well. Yeah. They did the seasons that they released, and then it's just been like still around in some tournaments,
It's here.
but it's like slowly falling out. It's an incredible game. We've talked about that before, but yeah, love it.
Yeah. Do we have any Nintendo theories?
Yeah, so for Nintendo, it looks like kind of what we have is they're mainly going to focus on Smash.
Yep.
We'll probably see some more things on Metroid Prime 4. Just because
Yes.
we got the logo last time, so maybe a trailer this time.
Look, you got the logo. Most of the work is done.
Yeah, there you go. And then also probably some more information on Pokemon. Maybe there's been a rumor about Starfox Grand Prix, which could be a Starfox racing game.
No,
There have been a
thank you.
couple of Star Fox rumors. One of them being the racing game. So
Was the new one good? I didn't play it.
they've
Okay.
been kind of hit or miss with recent Star Fox games, and I think the risk there is that they may have sort of like tarnished that franchise. There are a couple games that have come out that were clearly they didn't need to. So we'll see what they do with it. I love classic Starfox stuff, but I'm not sure how I feel about where they've been going. I want F-Zero.
I think that
I always want F-Zero, and I want Animal Crossing, but we're not getting Animal Crossing. Not this year.
I think that like the rail shooter, like you're going down a path kind of Starfox style gameplay is like so. It was of its time, and I don't feel like it aged. I know that they did other stuff than that in the newest Star Fox, but I feel like they need to reimagine that series and do something different that's not racing with it.
Yeah, there are some genres that age better than others.
Yeah, that genre, I didn't like it to begin with because you lacked freedom, and nowadays it's like, no.
I mean, yeah.
Actually, I will say I did like Panzer Dragoon Orta for the Xbox original. That was a great game.
Yeah, that was. But it's, it's cool with Star Fox is like, finding that path, and if you found that secret, it's cool now, we're going this other way. But also the multiplayer in Star Fox 64 was incredible.
Yeah, no,
So
it was fun.
The other thing we'll probably see is something like the Metroid Prime 4 announcement from last year is something like that this year, which is just same franchise, new title, and just
Something
like a hint at what they're working on. Yeah.
Be Animal Crossing.
I'm just going to throw it out there. New Pikmin.
Oh, I want new Pikmin. Pikmin was so great.
Switchman.
What? You're not a fan of Pikmin?
I don't
I
like.
saw your face.
I think Pikmin was Pikmin 2 with a time mechanic.
I think so.
I don't. Yeah. Those
Everything about Pikmin 3.
Those games are real cute. I just never got into them.
I enjoy the Pikmin games. They're fun and they're charming, and I like the Pikmin, and I feel bad when they die.
Yeah, I'm kind of meh on the series, whatever, but I'm just throwing it out there because I think maybe.
Some new info also I just found. It seems like this will be from Microsoft. They might be, after E3, merging Xbox Live Gold and Games Pass so that people will only have to pay for the one subscription and you get access to all the Games Pass games. And there's some rumors that they're going to be bringing a lot of those games to PC. Like Xbox's the Master Chief Collection would then be available on PC. A lot of those like crossover games they currently have where if you buy it on one console, you get it on PC immediately.
There wasn't a lot of. There's not a lot of Xbox exclusives that are not on PC, and I feel like Halo is like, it's like what, Halo 5, or Halo Master Chief Collection, Halo 4, Halo Master Chief Collection.
Well, there was
5.
recently that the project, it was based off the Russian like Halo Online.
That's right.
It was the fan project, basically like building Halo out of that, building Halo multiplayer, and people were doing it. And Microsoft sort of went and shut it down, so they're stopped development, so they can't do anything on it anymore. And at that time, they said, look, we know you want something on PC. So some Halo PC announcements I could absolutely see coming to C3.
I would like that. I never played Halo 5. I feel bad. Halo was like.
It's a franchise that's,
my
I think,
game growing up.
slid for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yep, it did. I was out. I was out after Halo 2. Halo 2 was awesome. Halo 3 just completely turned me off.
Yeah.
I was back in for Reach pretty hard for multiplayer.
I played a little bit of Reach.
Yeah,
but
good.
Yeah, but so that's about it for the big three: Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft. I'm gonna kind of just shoot through the rest of these. Bethesda, we'll probably see more on Fallout 76. We'll definitely see more on Fallout 76 and Rage 2. We'll probably see Starfield. There's some rumors that the Fallout announcement from yesterday is kind of like not a red herring, but they're showing us this, and then they're gonna sneak in the title for the next Elder Scrolls series and show a little bit of that. EA will announce more on Anthem and Battlefield 5. Ubisoft, actually, it's funny, you guys were talking about Target and Walmart had some leaks. I guess while we were recording this, a French video game website accidentally leaked Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which will take place in Greece, along with Beyond Good and Evil 2, probably a new Splinter Cell game. There's already been some images of Division 2 coming out. And Square Enix will definitely show Kingdom Hearts 3, maybe some Just Cause 4, The Avengers, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
It's going to be a busy year.
Yeah,
A lot of games.
Busy year.
Also, we'll probably see some Red Dead Redemption 2 stuff.
Yeah,
that's true.
We'll see. Although, to what extent we'll see that remains to be seen.
I
imagine they'll probably be
do a
at like
trailer.
one of the like big three's press conferences, but I don't know how much we'll see on the floor. Rockstar kind of does their own thing when it comes to marketing their games.
Yeah, they do.
It's like, look, you're gonna get this.
we know it.
We know that. So they'll buy a bunch of billboards and bus ads, and everyone in the world will buy it, and that will be that.
Speaking of Rockstar, what if they just like out of the blue, they're just like new Thrasher?
Okay, and on that note, let us know what your predictions are for E3. What do you think we're going to see? What do you want to see in the comments? If you're a Rooster Teeth first member, make sure you check out New Game Plus, our first exclusive post show on our website, theknow.tv, or roosterteeth.com or the Know channel. And we will see you next week for our last pre-E3 Glitch Please, and then we will be doing 6 days at E3. It's going to be very, very busy. We'll have whatever announcements they're coming. We're going to have a bunch of stuff on our live stream. We'll be bringing developers on. We're going to be going and playing the games and sharing hands-on impressions. It's going to be a really good time, so I hope you tune in for that. And thanks for checking out Glitch Please.
Yeah.
So excited.